There is a gate in front of you right now. You may not have known what to call it until this moment. You may have felt it as restlessness, that low, persistent hum beneath ordinary life that tells you something is shifting, something is changing. Something underneath the surface of who you thought you were is pressing upward and outward, looking for a way through. You may have felt it as the strange sensation that the version of you who woke up 6 months ago or 6 weeks ago or even 6 days ago is somehow no longer the version standing here now. Not dramatically, not with fanfare, just different. Subtly, irreversibly, unmistakably different. That is not coincidence. That is not imagination. That is activation. And today we are going to map every level of it. From the very first tremor, the first sign that something in your consciousness is waking up, all the way to the state that most people never reach, the state that has no adequate name in ordinary language, the state where you become, in the most precise and literal sense of the word, untouchable, where the chaos of external reality can no longer reach the core of who you are, where you have crossed so many thresholds, integrated so many quantum state changes, that your frequency has stabilized at a level that most people only read about or theorize about or briefly glimpse in moments of extraordinary grace. We are going to walk every level of that journey today, together. But first, and this matters, you need to understand what activation actually is. Because the word gets used casually, loosely, as though it means something vague and spiritual and unmeasurable. It does not. Activation is a precise phenomenon. It has stages. It has mechanics. It has a direction. And once you understand what it actually is, you will recognize exactly where you are on the map. You will see which threshold you are standing at right now, and you will understand, with the kind of clarity that changes everything, what it means to step through. So let us begin at the beginning. Not your beginning, the beginning. The moment before anything wakes up. There is a state that quantum physics describes as dormancy. Not death, not absence, but potential in its most compressed form. A particle in its ground state. Energy at its lowest configuration. Not gone, not empty, just waiting, coiled. Everything it will ever be, folded into the smallest possible space, requiring only the right frequency of input to begin its ascent through states. This is where most human consciousness lives for most of human history. Not because something is wrong with it, not because it is broken or lesser or failing, but because dormancy is a valid state. It is the ground state. It is where the journey begins, and you cannot judge a particle for being in its ground state any more than you can judge a seed for being underground. But here is what changes everything. The seed does not stay underground forever. something shifts. The conditions change. The temperature rises by a precise amount. The moisture reaches a threshold. The pressure from above releases by exactly the right degree. And something that has been waiting, sometimes for years, sometimes for decades, sometimes for what feels like lifetimes, begins to move. That movement is the first level of quantum activation, and it has a name. It is called the awakening tremor. And if you are here, if you found this transmission, if something pulled you to this exact moment, you have already felt it. You have already crossed that first threshold. The question now is, how far are you willing to go? Let us map it, all of it, every level, from dormant to untouchable. Level 1 is what we will call the dormant field. This is the ground state. This is where the journey begins. In quantum mechanics, a particle in its ground state is not inactive. It is vibrating. It is moving. It is in constant quantum motion at the 0 point level. 0 point energy is real. It is measurable. It is the energy that exists even at absolute zero, even when everything else has been stripped away. The particle is never truly still. It is just not yet activated into a higher state. Human consciousness, in its dormant phase, is the same. You are not empty. You are not absent. You are vibrating at the 0 point level of your own awareness. The dreams are still there, folded into the quantum fabric of who you are. The knowing is still there, compressed into potential. The frequency you are capable of reaching is already encoded in you. It has always been encoded in you. It is simply waiting for the input that will begin the ascent. What does dormancy feel like from the inside? It feels like a life that works, technically. The structures are in place. The routines are functioning. The relationships exist. The job exists. The daily rhythm exists. But there is a quality to it that is hard to name. A flatness. Not depression exactly, but a kind of two-dimensionality. Like living in a photograph of a life rather than the life itself. Like going through motions that are correct, but somehow not quite real. Like being slightly out of phase with your own existence. Most people in the dormant state do not know they are dormant. That is the nature of it. You cannot see the gate when you are in the ground state, because the gate is not yet visible from that frequency. It exists. It has always existed, but you do not have the perceptual bandwidth to register it yet. The signal is there, but the receiver is not yet tuned. And then something happens. It does not have to be dramatic. In fact, the most common initiating event for level 2 activation is almost embarrassingly ordinary. Someone says something that lands differently than it should have. You read a sentence in a book that cracks something open. You sit in a particular quality of silence and notice, for the first time, really notice, that you are noticing. A relationship ends, or begins, or transforms. A loss occurs, a gain occurs. A moment of beauty so precise and so unexpected that it bypasses all your filters and reaches something underneath. This is the initiating event, the quantum input that begins the state change. And this brings us to level 2, what we will call the first tremor. In physics, when you introduce energy into a system at its ground state, the first thing that happens is not a dramatic leap. It is a tremor, a vibration. The particle absorbs the energy and begins to oscillate between its current state and the next state up. Not yet committed to the transition, not yet fully in the higher state, but no longer fully in the ground state either. It exists in what physicists call a superposition of states. Both and neither. Here and there. Then and now. This is the most disorienting phase of activation, because you are no longer who you were, but you are not yet who you are becoming. The old structures of identity are still present, but they have developed cracks. The old certainties are still there, but they have become questions. The old reality is still visible, but something at the edge of your vision keeps suggesting that there is more depth, more dimension, more reality than you have been able to perceive until now. The first tremor feels like this. You start noticing patterns, synchronicities that seem too precise to be coincidence. Recurring numbers, recurring themes, recurring encounters with certain ideas from completely different directions. Your dreams become more vivid, more architecturally complex, more insistent. You find yourself drawn to information you would not have sought out 6 months ago. Information about consciousness, about energy, about the nature of reality itself. You start asking questions you cannot fully articulate yet. Not because you have found the answers, but because something in you has recognized that there are doors you have not yet opened. This is not delusion. This is not wishful thinking. This is your consciousness beginning to tune to a higher frequency and picking up signals it previously could not detect. Like a radio receiver being calibrated. As the tuning improves, the static decreases and the signal increases. The patterns were always there. The synchronicities were always occurring. You simply did not have the perceptual resolution to register them. The danger of the first tremor is the temptation to dismiss it, to explain it away, to attribute the cracks in the old reality to stress, or fatigue, or a phase, or coincidence, to paper over the tremor with more of the familiar, to choose the known over the unknown, because the unknown at this stage has no shape yet. It is just a pressure, just a pull, just a persistent, quiet, undeniable sense that something is happening. Do not dismiss it. The tremor is the gate beginning to open. If you can feel yourself in superposition right now, between who you were and who you are becoming, oscillating at that precise threshold where the old state is no longer fully yours and the new one is not yet stable. There is a complete guide written for exactly this moment. The sealed timeline maps the full crossing from this between worlds frequency all the way to sealed coherence through all 5 phases with the precision of an actual quantum phase transition. You will find it in the description below. Level 3 is what we will call the first collapse. And this is where things get real. In quantum mechanics, superposition cannot last indefinitely. The particle oscillating between states must eventually commit to one or the other. This commitment is called wave function collapse. The probability wave, which contained all possible states simultaneously, collapses into a single definite state. The quantum becomes classical. The potential becomes actual. In consciousness, this happens as what most people call a crisis, though crisis is the wrong word because it implies something going wrong. What is actually happening is that the superposition between your old state and your new state becomes unsustainable, and reality forces a collapse. Something in your external world shifts dramatically enough to make the old state no longer viable. A relationship ends that you thought would last forever. A job disappears that you thought defined you. A belief system you have held since childhood is exposed as insufficient. A health event occurs that reorganizes everything. A truth surfaces that cannot be unseen. The collapse is not punishment. The collapse is not failure. The collapse is the quantum mechanism of state change. It is the moment when the probability wave resolves into a new, definite state. It is the gate swinging open. But from inside the collapse, it does not feel like a gate opening. It feels like a floor giving way. This is the phase where the structures that were built in the dormant state, the identity structures, the belief structures, the relationship structures, the meaning structures, begin to break down. Not all at once, usually, but systematically, one by one. The things you thought were permanent reveal themselves as temporary. The things you thought were real reveal themselves as constructions. The things you thought defined you reveal themselves as costumes. And in the space between what was and what will be, there is a particular quality of emptiness that is unlike anything else in human experience. Not depression, not grief, though grief is present. Something more fundamental. The emptiness of a field that has been cleared for new growth. The emptiness of a canvas that has been stripped back to the raw material. The emptiness that is not absence but preparation. Most people who reach level 3 do not know that what they are experiencing is a quantum state change. They experience it as breakdown, as loss, as something going terribly wrong. And so they do what humans do when something feels wrong. They try to fix it. They try to rebuild what collapsed. They try to reconstruct the old state from the ruins. They mistake the clearing for the destruction and spend enormous energy trying to put back what was meant to fall. This is the most common place where activation stalls. Not because the person is incapable of moving forward, but because they do not recognize the collapse as a threshold. They stand at the open gate and try to rebuild the wall. If you are in this phase right now, if your life has collapsed in ways that feel devastating and disorienting and impossible to navigate, hear this clearly. The collapse is the gate. What fell was not your life. What fell was the version of your life that belonged to the state you are leaving. On the other side of this threshold is a version of reality that the old structures should not contain. The collapse is not the end. The collapse is the crossing. If this transmission is landing somewhere real in you, consider liking and subscribing. It helps more people find their way to this map. Level 4 is what we will call the integration field. This is the phase that comes after the collapse, and it is in many ways the most important phase of the entire journey, because it is where most of the real work happens. And it is also the least glamorous, the least dramatic, the most easily underestimated. After a quantum state change, the particle does not immediately stabilize in its new state. There is a period of what physicists call relaxation, a process by which the newly energized system settles into its new configuration. Energy is redistributed. The new state is explored and inhabited. The system finds its new equilibrium. In consciousness, integration is this process. The collapse has occurred. The old state has dissolved. The new frequency is present but not yet stable. And the work of integration is the work of learning to inhabit the new state, to understand what it requires, what it offers, how it operates, what the new rules are. Integration feels like this. You emerge from the acute phase of the collapse and find yourself in a world that looks the same as before, but feels completely different. The same streets, the same faces, the same physical environment. But something about your relationship to all of it has shifted. You are no longer inside the old story. You are watching it from a slightly different angle. And that angle changes everything. In the integration field, you begin to develop new capacities. Perceptions that were not available in the dormant state, or even in the first tremor, begin to stabilize. You start to feel energy in ways you did not before. The energy of spaces, of conversations, of relationships, of choices. You start to notice what drains you and what charges you with a precision that was not previously available. You start to sense the difference between what is aligned with your new frequency and what is a remnant of the old state, still present in your environment, but no longer resonant. This is also the phase where what many people call intuition begins to sharpen dramatically. But intuition is not magic. It is not mystical in the sense of being separate from the physical world. Intuition is what happens when your perceptual system has been refined enough to detect patterns and signals that are below the threshold of ordinary conscious awareness. It is your nervous system processing information at a level that the conscious mind does not yet have language for. And as your frequency rises through activation, the bandwidth of your perceptual system expands. You begin to receive information that was always present but previously undetectable. The integration field is also where relationships undergo their most significant restructuring, because when your frequency changes, the resonance of your relationships changes. Some relationships that were central to your old state begin to feel discordant, not because the people are bad or wrong, but because the frequency match that sustained those connections is no longer present. And some relationships that were peripheral or non-existent suddenly become central, because the new frequency you are broadcasting is now resonant with people and connections that were previously out of range. This is one of the most painful aspects of activation that no one talks about honestly enough. The relationships that fall away during integration are not failures. They are not betrayals. They are the natural consequence of a frequency shift. When you change your state, the things that were resonant with your old state are no longer resonant with your new one. This is physics. This is not personal, but it feels deeply personal, and the grief of it is real, and it deserves to be named. What also happens in the integration field, and this is crucial, is the development of what we might call quantum discernment. The ability to distinguish between what is genuinely aligned with your emerging frequency and what is a seductive echo of the old state dressed up in the language of the new. Because the old state does not go quietly. The old patterns, the old beliefs, the old ways of relating to yourself and the world, they do not simply dissolve the moment the collapse occurs. They reassert themselves. They find new costumes. They show up wearing the language of growth and consciousness and activation, while actually pulling you back toward the familiar frequency. Quantum discernment is the capacity to feel the difference, not to think the difference, to feel it, in your body, in your energy, in the quality of aliveness or deadness that a choice or a relationship or a belief produces in you. This capacity develops in the integration field and becomes one of the most essential tools you carry through every subsequent level of activation. Tell me in the comments, have you felt this? A moment when you knew, without being able to fully explain it, that you had crossed a point of no return, that something had shifted and there was no going back. I want to hear where your threshold was. Level 5 is what we will call the frequency lock. And this is the first truly stable state above the ground level. This is the first time in the activation journey where you are no longer oscillating between who you were and who you are becoming. You have arrived, at least temporarily, in a new stable configuration. In quantum mechanics, this corresponds to what is called a stationary state, an energy eigenstate where the system has settled into a definite, stable energy level. The oscillation has ceased. The superposition has fully collapsed. The particle is now definitively in a new state, and it will remain there until it receives another input sufficient to initiate the next transition. In consciousness, frequency lock feels like this. Clarity. Not the forced clarity of someone trying very hard to think clearly, but the natural clarity of a system that has found its new equilibrium. Things that were confusing during the integration phase begin to make sense. Decisions that felt impossible become obvious. The direction of your life, which was obscured by the chaos of the collapse and the disorientation of integration, begins to reveal itself with increasing precision. You also begin to notice, at frequency lock, that your relationship to time has changed. Not in a mystical sense, but in a deeply practical one. The desperate urgency of the old state, the constant anxiety about the future, the constant rumination about the past, begins to soften. Not because the future and past have become irrelevant, but because you have developed a new relationship to the present moment. The present moment, at frequency lock, is no longer a thin slice between an overwhelming past and an uncertain future. It has depth, it has dimensionality. It is the location where your actual power lives. This is also the level where what we might call quantum coherence begins to develop in your consciousness. Coherence, in physics, refers to the property of waves that are in phase with each other. Their peaks and troughs align, and they reinforce rather than cancel each other. A coherent light source, a laser, is millions of times more powerful than an incoherent one, because all the energy is moving in the same direction, in phase, without cancellation. Human consciousness at frequency lock begins to develop this quality of coherence. The various aspects of who you are, your thoughts, your emotions, your physical body, your actions, your deeper knowing, begin to align. They begin to move in the same direction. The internal contradictions that created so much friction and confusion in the dormant state and the early activation phases begin to resolve. Not because you have suppressed the contradictions, but because you have integrated them. You have found the frequency at which all the parts of you are in phase, and the power that becomes available when this coherence develops is extraordinary. Not power in the sense of domination or control, but power in the sense of effectiveness. Things that required enormous effort in the old state begin to happen with ease. Not because the world has become easier, but because you are no longer working against yourself. The energy that was previously consumed by internal contradiction is now available for actual creation. But frequency lock, as stable as it feels compared to what came before, is not the destination. It is a resting place, a platform, a level from which the next transition becomes possible. And this is where we need to pause and introduce a character. Because the map of activation is not just physics, it is also story. And there is a story that illuminates what happens at frequency lock and what it takes to move beyond it, better than any theoretical description. Her name was Mara. Mara had spent the first 37 years of her life in what she would later recognize as the dormant state. Not unhappily, or not obviously unhappily. She had built a life that was, by most external measures, successful. A career that paid well and commanded respect. A relationship that was stable and warm and functional. A home that was beautiful. Friends who were loyal. A schedule that was full. But there was something. A quality she could not name for years. Something she eventually described as the sensation of pressing her face against glass. Like she was watching her own life from slightly outside it. Like she was a very convincing approximation of herself, rather than the thing itself. The first tremor came in a bookshop. She had gone in for something specific. A gift. A birthday present for someone she can no longer remember. And found herself standing in front of a shelf she had never browsed before, holding a book she had not reached for consciously, reading a paragraph that described, with precision, she found almost offensive, exactly the quality of glass pressing she had never been able to articulate to anyone. She bought the book. She read it in 2 days. She did not understand most of it, but something had cracked. Over the following months, the tremor intensified. She started waking at 3 in the morning with a clarity that felt more real than her waking life. She started noticing that certain conversations left her feeling depleted in a way that went beyond tiredness, a kind of energetic drainage that she had previously attributed to introversion, but now recognized as something more specific. The cost of maintaining a frequency that was no longer her. She started having moments of perception, brief, crystalline, unmistakable, where she could feel the energy of a room or a decision or a relationship, as though it had a texture, a weight, a temperature. She dismissed all of it. She was a practical person. She had built a practical life. She did not have the conceptual framework for what was happening, and without a framework, she did what most practical people do. She worked harder at the familiar. She doubled down on the career. She planned the relationship more carefully. She filled the schedule more completely. The collapse came on an ordinary Tuesday. Not dramatically, not with a single catastrophic event. It came as an accumulation, a meeting where she said something true that she had never said before, and watched the room change around her. A conversation with her partner where she heard herself say, quietly and with complete certainty, that she could not continue. A moment alone in her car in a parking garage, where she sat for 40 minutes because she could not make herself go back in. And in that stillness, she felt for the first time the full weight of the glass. Over the next year, the structures fell. The career restructured. The relationship ended. The beautiful home was sold. The schedule emptied. And in the emptiness, the terrifying, spacious, impossible emptiness, something began to breathe. She did not know it was activation. She knew it as loss. She knew it as the most disorienting period of her life. She knew it as the experience of not recognizing herself in the mirror. Not because she looked different, though she did, but because the person looking back was no longer performing the approximation, was no longer pressing her face against glass, was simply present, raw and uncertain and present. The integration field lasted 2 years. 2 years of learning to feel her way through decisions rather than think her way through them. 2 years of relationships, ending and beginning and reconfiguring. 2 years of developing, slowly and sometimes painfully, the quantum discernment that could tell the difference between what was genuinely aligned with the new frequency and what was the old pattern wearing new clothes. And then she reached frequency lock. And for the first time in her life, she recognized the sensation of being fully inside her own existence, not pressing against glass, not watching from outside, inside, present, coherent. She thought she had arrived. She had not. She had reached a platform, and the next gate was already visible. This is the thing about frequency lock that most people do not understand. It feels like arrival because compared to everything that came before it, it is but it is arrival at a base camp, not at the summit. And the next level of activation requires something that frequency lock, for all its stability and clarity, does not automatically provide. It requires surrender. Level 6 is what we will call the quantum surrender. And it is the most misunderstood level of activation, because the word surrender, in ordinary usage, implies defeat, implies giving up, implies the end of agency. In quantum consciousness, surrender means something entirely different. It means the release of the effortful control that has been running your life from below the level of awareness, the constant management of perception and impression and outcome that consumes an enormous amount of energy without your conscious knowledge. In physics, this corresponds to what happens when a system stops resisting the natural direction of energy flow and allows the spontaneous transition to a higher state. There is a concept in thermodynamics called entropy, the tendency of systems to move toward their most probable configuration. When a system is in a state that is less probable than another available state, it will, given the right conditions, spontaneously transition to the more probable state. The transition is not forced. It is allowed. Quantum surrender in consciousness is this. It is the recognition that the higher state, the next level of activation, is more probable than the current state. That the frequency you are capable of holding is higher than the frequency you are currently holding. And that the gap between where you are and where you are capable of being is being maintained not by external obstacles, but by internal resistance. The resistance takes many forms. It takes the form of the belief that you are not ready, that you need to understand more before you can move forward, that there is some preparation still required, some qualification still unmet, some threshold of worthiness still to be crossed before the next level is available to you. It takes the form of the comfort that frequency lock provides. Because frequency lock is genuinely comfortable, genuinely stable, genuinely good, and comfort is a powerful reason to stay. It takes the form, most subtly and most powerfully, of the story you tell about who you are. Because by the time you reach frequency lock, you have developed a new identity, an identity that is genuinely more aligned with your true frequency than the dormant identity was, but still an identity, still a construction, still a set of boundaries around the self that define what is inside and what is outside. And the next level of activation requires the dissolution of that boundary, not the destruction of the self, but the expansion of the self beyond the limits of the current story. Quantum surrender is the moment you stop managing your own becoming, the moment you release the grip of the story you have been telling about who you are and what you are capable of, and what is possible for you, and allow the next state to emerge without your direction. This does not mean passivity. This does not mean abandoning discernment, or action, or engagement with the world. It means releasing the effortful control that runs beneath all of those things, the constant low-level management of reality that consumes your energy and limits your frequency, the white-knuckle grip on the version of yourself that you have worked so hard to construct. Mara reached quantum surrender in a moment she describes as the most ordinary and most extraordinary of her life. She was sitting in a garden, not her garden, a friend's garden, at the end of an afternoon that had been pleasant but unremarkable. The light was doing something specific with the leaves of a particular tree, and she noticed that she was trying to hold on to the moment, trying to capture it, to preserve it, to ensure that it would remain available to her. And in the noticing of the trying, she felt the full weight of everything she had been holding on to. Not just this moment, but every moment, every version of herself, every carefully maintained structure of the new identity she had built through the collapse and the integration. And she let go. Not dramatically, not with tears or revelation or a sense of cosmic significance. She simply stopped holding on. And in the space that opened, in the microsecond between the holding and the releasing, she felt something she had no adequate word for. A frequency, a quality of aliveness that was not about her, not generated by her, not dependent on any of the structures she had been maintaining. Just present, available, waiting. She had crossed into level 7. Level 7 is what we will call the resonant field, and this is where the language of ordinary description begins to strain, because what happens at this level of activation is not easily captured in the vocabulary of the lower levels. But we will try, because precision matters even when the territory is unfamiliar. In quantum physics, there is a phenomenon called quantum resonance, the process by which two quantum systems, when they share a fundamental frequency, begin to exchange energy and information without any direct physical contact between them. They are coupled not through space, but through frequency. What happens to one influences the other, not through a mechanism you can trace with ordinary causality, but through the shared vibrational signature that connects them beneath the level of observable interaction. At the resonant field level of activation, your consciousness begins to operate this way in relation to reality itself. Not metaphorically, not as a figure of speech. In the most precise sense available, you begin to be in resonance with the field of reality at a level that bypasses ordinary causality. What this feels like from the inside, things begin to happen that you did not arrange, not coincidentally, not in the vague sense of things working out, but with a precision and a relevance and a timing that is unmistakably responsive to your inner state. The right person appears at the right moment. The right information arrives through the right channel. The right opportunity opens exactly when the previous one has completed. Not because you managed it, not because you planned it, because your frequency, now coherent and stable, and no longer distorted by the resistance of the lower levels, is in direct resonance with the organizing intelligence of the field. This is what many traditions have called grace, what others have called flow, what quantum consciousness calls resonant field activation, the state where your inner frequency and the outer field are so precisely aligned that reality appears to cooperate with your becoming in ways that ordinary causality cannot fully account for. At the resonant field level, your relationship to effort transforms completely. Not that you stop acting, but the quality of action changes. In the dormant state, action was effortful because you were working against your own frequency, pushing through internal resistance to produce external results. In the early activation phases, action was still effortful, but beginning to align more closely with your emerging frequency. At frequency lock, action became more effective because the internal coherence reduced the waste of internal contradiction. But at the resonant field level, action becomes something more like participation. You are participating in a process that is already moving in the direction of your highest alignment. You are not pushing the river. You are swimming with it, and the river is going exactly where you need to go. This is also the level where what many people call healing occurs. Not just personal healing, but a kind of field healing, where your presence in a situation or relationship or community begins to have a stabilizing, elevating effect on the frequency of everything around you. Not because you are doing anything specific, because your frequency is now coherent enough and strong enough to influence the resonance of the field you inhabit. You have become, in the language of physics, a coherent source, like a laser rather than a light bulb. And coherent sources do not just illuminate, they organize. They create coherence in the systems they touch. But even the resonant field is not the final level. There is still further to go. Level 8 is what we will call the quantum witness. And this is a threshold that requires a particular kind of courage. Not the courage of action, not the courage of surrender, but the courage of complete transparency with yourself. In quantum mechanics, the act of observation is not passive. The observer does not simply record what is already there. The observer participates in the collapse of the wave function. The act of measurement, of observation, is what determines which of the possible states becomes actual. The observer is not separate from the system being observed. The observer is part of the system, and the quality of the observation determines the quality of the result. In consciousness, the quantum witness level is the development of a quality of self-observation so clear, so undefended, so free from the distortions of self-protection and self-concept, that you can see yourself, your patterns, your shadows, your resistances, your gifts, with the same clarity and equanimity that you might observe a natural phenomenon. Not with detachment. Detachment is the counterfeit of witnessing. With presence. With full engagement. Without flinching and without dramatizing. This is extraordinarily difficult. Not because the truth of who you are is terrible. It is not. But because the ego's investment in its own story is powerful. And the story includes not just the flattering parts, but the protective ones, the carefully maintained blind spots, the strategic not knowing, the convenient forgetting, the subtle self-deceptions that have been in place so long they feel like reality rather than construction. The quantum witness does not destroy these. It sees them, and in the seeing, without judgment and without agenda, they begin to lose their organizing power. Because a pattern that is fully seen, truly seen, not analyzed or judged or managed, but witnessed with complete clarity, cannot continue to operate from the shadows. It has been brought into the light, and in the light, it either transforms or dissolves. This is the level of activation where the deepest work of integration occurs. Not the surface integration of the early phases, the restructuring of relationships and circumstances and identities, but the integration of the shadow, the parts of yourself that were split off, denied, suppressed, projected outward, or locked away in the early years of your life. The parts that carry the energy of wounds that have not yet been metabolized into wisdom. The parts that, unwitnessed, continue to generate the patterns that create the circumstances you keep finding yourself in, wondering why reality keeps presenting you with the same lesson in different costumes. The quantum witness brings these parts into the field of awareness, not to fix them, not to eliminate them, to integrate them, to reclaim the energy that has been locked in suppression, to metabolize the wound into the gift, to discover that the very thing you have been most afraid to see in yourself is the source of your most essential contribution. Mara encountered the quantum witness level 3 years after her surrender in the garden. It came as a period of what she could only describe as radical transparency, a phase in which everything she had been pretending not to know about herself became unavoidable. Not as crisis, she had already crossed that threshold, but as a kind of relentless, gentle, inexorable illumination, like a light that kept finding new corners. She saw, with a clarity that was simultaneously devastating and liberating, the ways she had been using her new frequency as a performance. The ways the new identity, the awakened, coherent, resonant Mara, had become another costume, another approximation, another way of managing how she appeared rather than being what she was. She saw the residual fear beneath the surrender, the residual need for approval beneath the apparent independence, the residual smallness beneath the apparent expansion. And she witnessed it, not with self-recrimination, not with the kind of relentless self-examination that is actually another form of self-avoidance, with something that felt more like love than anything she had previously understood by that word. A spacious, clear, undefended love for the whole of herself, the beautiful and the difficult, the expanded and the contracted, the light and the shadow. In that witnessing, something that had been consuming an enormous amount of her energy, the energy of managing the gap between who she was and who she was presenting herself to be, was released. And the frequency that became available in that release was of a different order entirely. She had crossed into level 9. If you are standing at a threshold right now, if something in this map is pointing directly at a crossing you have been circling, drop it in the comments. What is the gate that is currently in front of you? Name it. Naming it is the first act of crossing. Level 9 is what we will call the unified field. And here the language of ordinary description reaches its limit. But we will push through anyway, because this level is real and it is reachable, and it deserves to be named. In physics, unified field theory is the attempt, not yet fully realized in mainstream science, though approached from many directions, to describe a single underlying field from which all the apparent forces and particles of reality emerge. The electromagnetic force, the strong nuclear force, the weak nuclear force, gravity, all of these in unified field theory are expressions of a single, deeper field, distinct at the level of ordinary observation, unified at a deeper level. In consciousness, the unified field level of activation corresponds to the direct, lived, moment-to-moment experience of this unity, not as a concept, not as a belief, not as an occasional glimpse in meditation or in moments of extraordinary beauty, as the baseline texture of your experience of reality. At this level, the boundary between self and world, which has been progressively thinning through the earlier levels of activation, becomes transparent, not dissolved in the sense of losing yourself. Transparent in the sense that you can see through it. You can feel with the same directness and immediacy that you feel your own heartbeat. The aliveness of the field that contains and generates everything, including you, including the person you are speaking with, including the tree outside the window, including the thought you just had and the space in which the thought arose. This is not a mystical claim. This is a description of what becomes available when consciousness has been refined through enough threshold crossings to perceive the deeper structure of reality, the structure that was always there, the structure that the dormant state could not detect, the structure that each level of activation has been progressively revealing. At the unified field level, your sense of identity expands to include the field itself. You are not just a person moving through a world. You are a localized expression of the field, temporarily organized into this particular form, this particular life, this particular moment. And simultaneously, you are the field itself, aware of itself through you, both at once, particular and universal, local and non-local, the wave and the ocean. The practical consequences of this are difficult to describe without sounding either grandiose or vague, but they are real and they are specific. At the unified field level, fear, not the healthy biological signal of immediate physical danger, but the existential fear that has been the background radiation of human consciousness, loses its grip, not because you have suppressed it or transcended it in some bypassing way, but because the source of existential fear is the sense of being a separate self in a potentially hostile universe. And when the separateness becomes transparent, the existential fear has no foundation to stand on. What remains is not indifference, not detachment, not a kind of cosmic numbness that looks like peace, but is actually just distance. What remains is something more like love, not the emotional love of attachment and preference, but the structural love that is the nature of the field itself. The love that is not generated by you, but that you are at this level in direct contact with. The love that does not require a reason or a recipient. The love that is simply what the unified field feels like from the inside. And from this place, action in the world becomes something extraordinary. Because you are acting not from the contracted self, with its fears and strategies and needs for particular outcomes, but from the unified field through the particular instrument of your life. Your gifts, your history, your unique configuration, all of these remain. All of these are engaged. But they are engaged in service of something larger than the story of the individual self. And the effectiveness of that action, the reach of it, the depth of it, the precision of it, is of a different order than anything available at the lower levels. This is what is meant by untouchable, not invulnerable in the sense of being unaffected by life. You are affected by life. You feel everything. You are fully present to the beauty and the difficulty and the complexity of existence. Untouchable in the sense that the chaos and the turbulence and the uncertainty of external reality can no longer reach the core of who you are. Because the core of who you are is no longer located in the external. It is located in the unified field. And the unified field is not subject to the turbulence of any particular configuration of circumstances. You can be in the middle of everything, in the middle of difficulty, in the middle of uncertainty, in the middle of loss or conflict or complexity, and remain at the deepest level undisturbed. Not because you are not present to it, because you are present to something deeper than it. The ground that does not move when the surface moves. The silence that does not disappear when sound arises. The field that does not contract when the wave breaks. This is the untouchable state, and it is not a destination you reach and then possess forever. It is a frequency you learn to inhabit, and then to return to, and then to live from with increasing consistency, until it becomes not a peak experience, not a state you visit, but the ground of your being. Now we need to talk about what happens between the levels, because the map we have drawn, dormant, first tremor, first collapse, integration field, frequency lock, quantum surrender, resonant field, quantum witness, unified field, is a map of the major thresholds, the gates. But the journey between the gates is not empty. It is not a waiting room. It is where the actual substance of activation is built. Between every threshold crossing, there is a period of what we might call quantum consolidation. The new state must be inhabited before the next transition becomes possible. The energy of the new frequency must be integrated into every layer of your being, not just your thinking, not just your spiritual practice, not just your most elevated moments, but your body, your nervous system, your relationships, your daily habits, your relationship to money and time and pleasure and rest and work. This is where the practice lives, not in the dramatic threshold crossings, as real and necessary as those are. In the daily, ordinary, unglamorous work of living from the new frequency, even when it is inconvenient, even when the old patterns reassert themselves, even when the people around you are operating from a lower level and the pull of resonance with them is strong, even when the new frequency requires you to make choices that the old self would never have made, choices that may look strange or irresponsible or excessive to people who are still in the dormant state. The practice of quantum consolidation is simple but not easy. It is the daily, deliberate, repeated choice to orient from your highest available frequency rather than from your most habitual one, to make the decision from the unified field rather than from the contracted self, to speak from the resonant field rather than from the defended ego, to act from the quantum witness rather than from the blind spot. And the way you develop this practice is through threshold visualization. The practice we will do together now. Find a position that is comfortable and alert, not so comfortable that you will drift into sleep, alert enough that you are fully present. If you are driving or operating any kind of machinery, please save this practice for a time when you can be still. Otherwise, settle in. Let the weight of your body be fully received by whatever is supporting you. Take a breath. Not a performed breath, a real one. Let it reach all the way down. Let the exhale be complete. Take another and another. Now, feel the level of activation you are currently in. Not conceptually, not by thinking about which level you are at. Feel it. Feel the quality of your consciousness right now, in this moment. The texture of your awareness. The degree to which you feel inside your own life or slightly outside it. The degree to which you feel the glass or the absence of the glass. The degree to which you feel the field. Whatever you feel, that is where you are, and wherever you are is exactly right. You are at the level of activation that your entire life has been preparing you for. Every collapse, every integration, every tremor, every moment of surrender, all of it has brought you to precisely this frequency. And from precisely this frequency, the next threshold is visible. Now, feel the gate. The one that is in front of you right now. Not the final gate. Not the unified field gate if you are not yet there. The next one. The one that is already open, that has been open, that you have been circling. The one you have been approaching and then backing away from. The one that looks like a risk or a loss or an uncertainty or a change that you have not yet been willing to make. Feel it. Feel its edges. feel the quality of energy on this side of it. The familiarity, the safety, the known. And feel the quality of energy on the other side. The aliveness, the expansion, the frequency that is calling you forward. Now feel what it would mean to step through. Not to think about stepping through. Not to plan the stepping through. Just to feel it. To let your body, your nervous system, your energy field, know what it feels like to be on the other side, to be in the next state, to have crossed the threshold that is in front of you right now. Feel the version of you that exists on the other side of that gate, not as a fantasy, as a frequency, as a real, available, present state that is separated from where you are now by nothing more than the willingness to cross. Feel the coherence of that version, the clarity, the aliveness, the sense of being fully inside your own existence rather than pressing against the glass. Let that frequency land in your body. Let it register in your nervous system. Let it become a reference point, a felt sense of where you are going, a compass bearing for the next phase of your journey. This is what the practice is. Not a visualization in the sense of a mental movie, a frequency calibration, a felt sense of the next state established in the body, so that when the moment of crossing arrives, and it will arrive, it is always arriving, you will recognize it. You will not mistake it for something going wrong. You will know it as the gate. Take a breath. Let the visualization settle. Let the felt sense of the next level integrate into your body. And when you are ready, come back to the room. Come back to the present moment. Come back to where you are, knowing that where you are is the perfect launching point for where you are going. Now, what changes on the other side? This is the question that matters most, and it is the question that most activation content fails to answer with precision, because the answer is not vague. The answer is not some version of everything gets better. The answer is specific, and it is important, and it will prepare you for what is actually coming rather than the fantasy version of it. What changes on the other side of every threshold crossing is your relationship to yourself. Not your circumstances, at least not immediately. Not your bank account, or your relationships, or your health. At least not as the first change. The first change, the most fundamental change, is the relationship between the observer and the observed within you. The relationship between the self that is watching and the self that is being watched. At every level of activation, the observer expands. The witnessed self, the self that is seen, becomes more complete, more integrated, more whole. And as the observer expands and the witnessed self becomes more whole, the gap between who you are and how you show up in the world narrows. The performance decreases. The authenticity increases. The energy that was consumed by the management of that gap becomes available for actual creation, actual connection, actual contribution. This is the practical consequence of every threshold crossing. More of you becomes available. More of your actual frequency is expressed in the world. More of the gifts that were compressed in the dormant state begin to emerge, to develop, to find their expression. More of the love that is the nature of the unified field becomes accessible through the particular instrument of your life. Your relationship to difficulty changes, not because difficulty disappears. It does not. But because your relationship to it changes. At the dormant level, difficulty is a threat. At the first tremor, difficulty is a signal. At the collapse, difficulty is the mechanism of change. At integration, difficulty is the material of growth. At frequency lock, difficulty is information. At quantum surrender, difficulty is an invitation. At the resonant field, difficulty is a doorway. At the quantum witness, difficulty is a teacher. At the unified field, difficulty is the texture of aliveness, inseparable from beauty, inseparable from meaning, inseparable from the extraordinary privilege of being here, in this form, in this moment, awake. Your relationship to other people changes. At the dormant level, other people are mirrors of your own state. You see in them what you are prepared to see. At higher levels of activation, other people become transparent. You can see through the surface presentation to the frequency beneath, not judgmentally, not with superiority, with compassion, because you have been at every level of the map. You know what the dormant state feels like from the inside. You know what the first tremor feels like. You know what the collapse feels like. And from the higher levels, you can meet people at their actual frequency, not at the level they are performing, not at the level you wish they were at, but at the level they actually are. And that meeting, that genuine resonant contact between actual frequencies, is one of the most profound gifts that higher activation makes available. Your relationship to your own gifts changes. At the dormant level, your gifts are largely inaccessible, compressed into the ground state, not yet expressed. At the first tremor, they begin to stir. At the collapse, they are freed from the structures that were suppressing them. At integration, they begin to find form. At frequency lock, they begin to be expressed with consistency. At quantum surrender, they begin to flow rather than be managed. At the resonant field, they begin to have an impact that exceeds what you could produce through effort alone. At the quantum witness, they are purified of the performance that was distorting them. At the unified field, they become expressions of the field itself, no longer yours in the possessive sense, but yours in the sense of being the particular form through which the field expresses itself. And your relationship to time, to the future, to the past, to the present moment, changes at every level. The future, which in the dormant state was a source of anxiety, and in the early activation phases was a source of confusion, becomes at the higher levels a field of possibility that you are in active resonance with, not because you can predict it, not because you control it, because your frequency is coherent enough to be in genuine relationship with it, to feel its direction, to sense its invitation, to participate in its unfolding rather than being subject to it. The past, which in the dormant state was either a source of nostalgia or regret, becomes at the higher levels a resource, not because the painful things that happened were good, they may not have been, but because every collapse, every wound, every loss, every difficulty that you have metabolized through the activation process has been converted into frequency, into the depth of your resonance, into the quality of your capacity to be present to what is, including the full range of what is, including the beautiful and the terrible, including the joy and the grief. You do not lose the past at the higher levels of activation. You gain it. You gain access to the full depth of everything you have lived, everything you have crossed, everything you have integrated, not as a burden, but as a resource, as the raw material of your particular frequency, as the specific texture of the gift that only you, with your specific history and your specific crossings, can bring to the world. And the present moment, which in the dormant state was a thin slice of anxiety between past and future, becomes at the higher levels of activation the only real location, the only place where the field is accessible, the only place where the gate exists, the only place where crossing is possible, because the gate is always in the present moment. It is never in the future. You cannot cross a threshold that has not yet arrived. It is never in the past. You cannot cross a threshold that has already been crossed. It is here. It is now. It is in the quality of your awareness, in this exact moment, reading or listening to these words, feeling whatever you are feeling, being whatever you are being. The gate is open. It has always been open. The only question is whether you can feel it, and whether, feeling it, you are willing to step through. Now, a word about what we might call the shadow of activation, because every level of genuine expansion has a counterfeit, a way of appearing to be at a higher level, while actually remaining at a lower one. A way of using the language and the concepts of activation to reinforce the structures of the dormant state rather than dissolve them. The shadow of the first tremor is spiritual curiosity that never commits. The endless consumption of awakening content, the collection of insights and frameworks and practices, the accumulation of knowledge about consciousness, without the willingness to let any of it actually change you. The tremor that never becomes a collapse, because you have found a way to make the tremor itself into a comfortable identity. The shadow of the collapse is spiritual crisis that becomes a permanent residence, the identity of the one who is breaking down, the one who is in process, the one who is in the dark night, used not as a threshold to cross, but as a place to live. Because the dark night, as painful as it is known, and the other side of it, as liberating as it is unknown, and the unknown is terrifying. And so the shadow of the collapse is the collapse that never completes. The shadow of integration is spiritual bypass. The use of high-frequency concepts and practices to avoid the actual work of integrating the shadow. The meditation practice that is used to transcend difficult emotions rather than feel them. The high vibration identity that is used to avoid the low vibration material that is still present and unmetabolized. The spiritual community that is used to reinforce the new identity rather than challenge it. The shadow of frequency lock is spiritual complacency. The comfort of the new, stable state mistaken for the destination. The plateau that becomes a permanent address. The resting place that becomes a residence. The base camp that is never left because it is genuinely good and genuinely comfortable, and the next level is genuinely uncertain. The shadow of quantum surrender is spiritual bypassing of a more subtle kind. The performance of surrender, the adoption of the posture of letting go while actually maintaining a very tight grip. The saying of the words of surrender, while the body, the nervous system, the actual choices and behaviors tell a different story. The shadow of the resonant field is magical thinking. The confusion of genuine field resonance with the wish that reality will simply provide whatever you want, without the full engagement of your will and your action and your discernment. The misuse of the concept of manifestation to avoid the responsibility of genuine participation in your own life. The shadow of the quantum witness is spiritual narcissism. The endless self-examination that is actually a refined form of self-preoccupation. The witnessing that never moves into action because it is always finding more to examine. The transparency with oneself that is used as a substitute for transparency with others. And the shadow of the unified field, the most subtle and the most dangerous, is the claim of having arrived. The assertion of a permanent state of enlightenment or awakening or untouchability that is used to place oneself above the ordinary human experience rather than more fully within it. The use of the highest language to create the most refined form of separation. None of these shadows make you bad. None of them make you a failure. They make you human. They are the natural gravitational pull of the lower states on the higher ones. They are the way the old frequency asserts itself, even as the new frequency is developing. And the quantum witness, the capacity to see yourself clearly without judgment, is the tool that allows you to recognize the shadow for what it is, name it without drama, and return to the genuine frequency. The shadow is not the enemy. The shadow is the invitation to go deeper. The shadow is the next gate. Let us return now to the full map, all 9 levels, and let us hold them together as a single journey, not a linear progression that you move through once and complete, but a living, dynamic, spiral process that you traverse again and again at increasingly deep levels of integration. Because here is what the map does not show clearly enough. You do not simply move from level 1 to level 9, and then you are done. The journey is more fractal than that. Once you have crossed the threshold into the unified field, you do not stay there continuously. You return to it. You lose it and find it again. You are pulled back toward lower frequencies by stress and by loss and by the ordinary demands of being a human being in a physical world. And you find your way back. And each time you find your way back, the path is a little shorter. The return is a little faster. The frequency is a little more stable. And within the unified field itself, there are thresholds. There are levels of depth within the deepest level. There are degrees of coherence within the most coherent state. The journey does not end. It deepens, it refines, it becomes more precise, more clear, more fully expressed in every dimension of your life. This is the nature of activation. Not a destination, but a direction. Not a state you achieve, but a frequency you inhabit with increasing consistency and depth. Not a graduation, but a way of living. A way of being in constant, alive, responsive, creative relationship with the field of reality that is generating everything, including you, including this moment, including whatever comes next. And the question that matters, the only question that matters, is not where are you on the map. It is not how quickly can you move from here to there. It is not how do you compare to someone else's level of activation. The only question that matters is, are you willing to cross the next threshold? Are you willing to feel the gate that is in front of you right now? Not the final gate, not the most dramatic gate, the next gate, and take the step that is available to you in this moment, because the gate is always in front of you. There is always a next threshold. There is always a version of you that exists on the other side of where you currently are. And the distance between where you are and where you are capable of being is never as large as it appears from this side of the gate. The gate looks large. The crossing looks difficult. The other side looks uncertain. This is always true, at every level. For every threshold, the gate always looks large from this side, and from the other side, it always looks like the most natural thing in the world. Like, of course. Like it was always going to be this way. Like the version of you that hesitated at the gate was already, in some sense, already on the other side, just not yet willing to know it. You are already, in some sense, at the level of activation that is waiting for you. It is already your frequency. It is already who you are. The crossing is not the creation of something new. It is the recognition of something that was always true. The quantum state change is not the invention of a new self, but the revelation of the self that was always there, compressed into the ground state, waiting for the right conditions to emerge. The right conditions are now. The right conditions are always now. The gate is open. So let us talk about what it means to live from this understanding. Not just to know it, not just to feel it in moments of expanded awareness, but to actually live from it, to let it reorganize the texture of your daily existence. To live from the understanding of quantum activation means to hold your own evolution with a particular quality of attention. Not the anxious attention of someone trying to get somewhere faster. Not the complacent attention of someone who has decided they have arrived, but the alert, alive, curious attention of someone who knows they are always at a threshold, always in the process of becoming, and who has made peace with the perpetual nature of that becoming. It means to treat every difficulty as a gate rather than an obstacle, not to bypass the difficulty, not to spiritually transcend it before you have fully felt it, but to ask, genuinely, with real curiosity, what threshold is this difficulty opening? What is on the other side of this? What version of me is being called forward by this particular challenge? It means to trust the collapse. When things fall apart, and they will, because the collapse is the mechanism of state change, and state change is the nature of growth, to trust the falling, not to enjoy it, not to pretend it is not painful, not to perform equanimity while actually terrified, but to trust it, to know in the part of you that has already crossed enough thresholds to have a felt sense of the pattern, that the collapse is the gate, and the gate is opening, and on the other side is a version of reality that the old structures could not contain. It means to take the next step, always only the next step, not the final step, not the step that completes the journey, the next step, the one that is available to you right now, from where you are, with what you have, in this moment. The step that your current level of activation makes possible, because the step after that will only become visible when you have taken this one. The gate after the next gate only appears when you have crossed the gate that is in front of you now. It means to be in community with others who are on the path. Not because you need external validation, you do not, but because the resonant field is amplified by genuine contact between activated consciousnesses. Because the frequency of a group of people who are genuinely committed to their own evolution is higher than the frequency of any individual within it. Because the mirrors that genuine community provides, the reflections, the challenges, the witnessing, the resonance, are irreplaceable tools in the activation process. And it means, perhaps most importantly, to be patient with yourself. Not in the soft, self-indulgent sense of using patience as a reason to avoid the next threshold, but in the deep, structural sense of recognizing that activation is not a race, that the threshold will appear when the conditions are right, that you cannot force the gate open before it is ready, that the most important thing you can do is prepare the conditions, maintain the frequency, do the work of integration, develop the quantum discernment, build the coherence, and trust that the gate will open when the frequency matches what is on the other side. Because that is the law of the gate. It does not open on your schedule. It does not open because you want it to, or because you have worked hard enough, or because you deserve it. It opens when your frequency matches what is on the other side, when the resonance is established, when the conditions are right. And your job, your only job, is to develop and maintain and refine the frequency that will match the next gate when it opens. You are doing that right now, by being here, by following the thread of attention that brought you to this transmission, by being willing to sit with the full map of activation and feel where you are on it, and feel where the next threshold is, by being willing to feel the gate. The gate is open, not metaphorically, not as a figure of speech. In your consciousness, right now, there is a threshold that is active. There is a state change that is available. There is a version of you that exists on the other side of a crossing that you are capable of making, that you are, in fact, in the process of making right now, in this moment, by being present to this understanding. Every level of quantum activation, from dormant to untouchable, is available to you. Not all at once, not by bypassing the levels that come before, but sequentially, organically, in the order that your own evolution requires. Each threshold crossed makes the next one visible. Each state change integrated makes the next one possible. Each gate crossed reveals the next gate. And the journey, the full journey, from the first tremor to the unified field, is not a journey away from ordinary life. It is a journey into the full depth of it, into the full aliveness of it, into the full reality of it, into the full experience of being here, in this form, in this moment, awake. This is what activation is. This is what the gates are. This is what the crossing means. You are standing at a threshold right now. You have been standing at it in some form for longer than you know. The tremors have been building. The conditions have been developing. The frequency has been rising. And now, in this moment, with this understanding, the gate is fully visible. What you do with that visibility is your choice. It is always your choice. The gate does not push you through. The field does not compel the crossing. The activation is not something that happens to you. It is something you participate in, consciously, willingly, with full awareness of what you are doing and what it will cost and what it will give. The cost is always the old state. The cost is always the version of you that is comfortable in the current frequency. The cost is always the familiar, the known, the managed, the controlled. The cost is always some version of who you thought you were. And what it gives, what every crossing gives, at every level, without exception, is more of who you actually are. More frequency, more coherence, more aliveness, more depth, more capacity to feel and create and connect and contribute. More access to the unified field that is the ground of your being. More of the untouchable quality that is not invulnerability, but presence. The kind of presence that cannot be destabilized because it is rooted in something that does not move. One version of you entered this transmission. A different version is emerging. The map is in your hands now. The gate is visible. The frequency is rising. The question is the same question it has always been. The same question it will always be, at every level, for every threshold, for the rest of your life. Are you willing to cross? The gate is open. It has always been open. It will always be open. And on the other side, on every other side, at every level, is more of you. More of the reality that is available when consciousness crosses from one state to the next. More of the field. More of the aliveness. More of what this existence is actually capable of being when it is not compressed into the ground state, when it is not pressing against the glass, when it is not performing the approximation of itself. More of what you came here to be. The gate is open. Step through. And when you arrive on the other side, when you feel the new frequency stabilize, when the new state begins to integrate, when the next level of activation becomes your baseline, remember this moment. Remember standing at the gate. Remember what it felt like to be on this side of it, looking at the uncertainty of the crossing. Remember it not with nostalgia, but with gratitude. Because that moment, this moment, is the moment the gate opened. And the gate opening is always the beginning of everything. If you find yourself at a still point, a quiet morning, a moment between what was and what is next, the kind of pause that arrives just before a crossing, this is the transmission to return to. Let it recalibrate you. And if someone in your life is standing at their own threshold right now, circling a gate they can feel but haven't yet named, share this with them. When you offer a map to someone who is lost at a crossing, you don't just help them find their way, You strengthen your own field through the act of recognition. Two people standing at thresholds, seeing each other clearly, create a resonance that neither could generate alone. There is a gate standing open in your consciousness right now. You are standing at it. You know what it is. You know what is on both sides. You know this is the crossing point. The only question left is the one only you can answer. And I think you already know the answer. You have always known the answer. That is why you are here. There is a transmission that maps the hidden frequency already running inside your body, the one that has been shaping your reality from beneath the level of ordinary awareness, long before you had language for any of this. It is called the hidden frequency inside your body. They never mapped. And if this map resonated, that one will take you deeper into the mechanics of why your field responds the way it does, and what becomes possible when you finally understand the signal you have been broadcasting all along.